I thought that I'd make a video and share a little bit about my process of patch testing some creams that I was given for my acne, for my skin, and just talk a little bit about why I'm patch testing them and what they are and all of that. So I am well past the years of the point where I should be dealing with acne. I have pretty much my entire life. I wouldn't say my entire life actually, but my um, since my teen years, since puberty pretty much. Um, and I am, from what I can gather, entering into perimenopause right now at this particular point in my life. So I should not, be having these issues still. And they've just always kind of been with me. When I was in my teen years, I tried various products. Most of them I didn't ever stick with or maintain, just I think out of the fact that it was hard for me to continue on with a routine. I just really wasn't mindful of that, I guess, at that age. But I tried Proactive, which, like I said, I wasn't consistent with it. Um, it didn't really make a difference for me. I tried all different kinds of creams and gels, and again, I wasn't consistent with those either. Um, I went on birth control in I want to say my early 20s. Didn't really want to go on it, but ended up going on it. It did make a difference for me in terms of clearing my acne. So I had absolutely none while I was on it. I was on it up until about age, I want to say 26. And then I just started to understand that that really wasn't something I wanted to be putting into my body. I didn't want to, have the side effects the older that I got, the risks that came along with staying on it. So I got off of it. When I did, immediately after I did, I had my acne just flare up and become increasingly worse for a while, as well as on my scalp. So ended up having other symptoms too, like hair loss, just very strange symptoms when I abruptly stopped the birth control. When I was in my teen years, I would say somewhere around maybe 17, not 17, it had to be maybe 15 actually. I was put on an antibiotic for my acne 3 times a day, which was tetracycline. Um, and they were like gel capsules. I remember they were yellow and black. Um, and so I had to take those 3 times a day. I am not very good at taking actual medication in the form of pills. I never have been ever since I've been younger. So it's not like I've never been able to take, pill form medication, but when I have, I've had issues with it often. And at that time, when I was taking the tetracycline, it ended up getting lodged in my esophagus and broke open and burned a hole in my esophagus. And then I needed to have another medicine to take to help to heal it. It was really, really painful. I remember it just being excruciating. But when I was on the tetracycline, I wasn't on it a long time. I want to say a couple of years maybe. It did clear my acne. But, it got to the point where I got really sick of taking it 3 times a day, really sick of just the feeling of it, not being able to really feel like I was able to take it very well or accurately, and just caused issues for me. So I didn't end up staying on it. Um, I was prescribed quite a few years ago, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago, a combination of clindamycin and benzoyl peroxide to see if that would make a difference. And again, it wasn't something I was consistent with. I got the prescription filled, I used it a couple times, and then kind of put it to the side. A few years ago, I decided to try it, but not try the antibiotic cream and just try the benzoyl peroxide. So I did that, and for a while, I seemed to be tolerating it pretty well. I didn't really have too many issues with it. There was one occasion that I remember having a hive by my eye, um, and wondered, if maybe it was from the cream, but it wasn't something that continued on for me, so I didn't think that it was. Then I had a really strange occurrence. So then I had a very strange occurrence where I came down with COVID. I want to say it was 2021. I want to say it was 2021. And I put the cream on my face. So during COVID, while I had COVID for like 2 weeks, I got kind of, extra fatigued and didn't feel like keeping up with my routines and all of that. And I slacked on, maintaining my face washing and creams and all of that. So immediately after COVID passed for me, the 2 weeks later, I decided to get back into things again, washed my face, put the cream on like I normally would, and went to bed. And I woke up the next morning and my entire face was swollen. It was really alarming. It looked like I was on the verge of like an anaphylactic type reaction. So I immediately stopped using it, washed my face, made a doctor's appointment. My doctor really didn't seem to think too much of it, didn't really give me any recommendations, like if I should avoid it entirely or what he thought might have happened or caused it. Um, but I personally have just avoided it since then because I don't know if, since having COVID, it somehow made me more sensitive to certain things. I think that it did. So my mast cell issues started to flare up worse, I would say, to a noticeable degree before I even came down with COVID, a few years before that. But once that I had COVID, it made it increasingly worse. So now the skin on my face, for some reason, is extremely sensitive, where I used to be able to put on like lotions and different face washes. And, I used to be able to do so many things. I used to go and get my eyebrows threaded. I would wear like, eyeshadows and makeup and stuff like that. And I never had any sort of an issue with putting anything on my face, never had any sort of reactions, never had any sort of sensitivities. And then all of a sudden, now it's just the texture of my skin has changed. The sensitivity, like I said, it's very sensitive. So I recently went to a dermatologist appointment, I would say quite a few months ago actually, and I was given a few different creams for my face that aren't benzoyl peroxide. And one of them I am really cautious about, and I will talk about why and what it is. And two of them I am still nervous about, but think that I might possibly be able to tolerate them. I still am not really thinking I will, but more likely. So the creams that I was given were Ketoconazole, the 2% cream. It's upside down. So this one is supposed to be like, I think, an antifungal if you have fungal acne, which I think I do. And I think mine is a mix of hormonal and fungal. Which is why I think that the benzoyl peroxide worked so well for me when I used it. So that was like the only cream I've ever used that actually worked and cleared the acne on my face. And so I was really, disheartened that I couldn't continue on with it. But I was given this, and then I was given Ketoconazole shampoo, 2% to use, because I also have, I never can pronounce it right, seborrheic dermatitis, I think. So there's this. Head and Shoulders does work pretty decent for me. I tried so many different things. I am able to, since I went to school for cosmetology, I'm able to get like professional hair care and all of that. And I tried Kenra's um, dandruff shampoo. It did absolutely nothing for me. So actually, the Head and Shoulders is what has been making the most difference. I've been using that pretty consistently for the past, like, I want to say 2 or 3 years. If I stop it, it just gets crazy. So I was thinking that I might attempt to try this, and then if this works for me, maybe I can add some different kinds of shampoos, like a volumizing one, or maybe some other products on my hair as well to help it. I am getting quite a few gray hairs, which is really interesting to me. It's interesting because it just seems like they all just kind of started to come in at once. I earned pretty much every single one of those gray hairs, so I don't plan on coloring my hair. I'll see how my thoughts go, as they kind of come in a little bit more. But as of right now, I don't plan on coloring my hair, and I plan on just letting it be gray and naturally gray. And it's it's quite shocking, I think, when you get to this stage where all of a sudden it's just like overnight you just get like a bunch of gray hair. It's interesting. But then I was given this, which is Retin-A, I believe. Um, and this is also for helping, I think, the dead skin on your face kind of exfoliate and turn over so that it's not clogging your pores, I think, with like the dead skin cells and all of that. So, what I am most concerned about in all of these is this one. And the reason why I'm really concerned about this is because it has sulfites in it. There is in the pamphlet like a warning or side effect kind of label that talks about how if you're sensitive to sulfites, if you have an allergy to them, anything like that, you can have a pretty serious reaction to this one. And that's concerning for me because since my mast cell issues flared up pretty bad the last quite a few years now, I've been increasingly sensitive to sulfites. And so that, I tried to tell my dermatologist that I have mast cell activation disorder. He didn't seem to really be too familiar with, what it is or anything like that. And I know this just based off of the recommendations he gave me in terms of how to apply all of this and all of that, because if I applied these like I was prescribed, my face, I would probably have a very serious reaction. There's no way I could just, right off the bat do that. I wasn't given any specific instructions when I asked about patch testing. Um, in terms of like, if I could go in and have these actually, like, I don't know if they do a scratch test or whatever, but when I Googled it, it said that the best way to test for these things is to test them on like your inner arm every single day for 7 days and try to document and keep track of if you have a reaction of any kind and what it is. And if you don't, then it's most likely safe to use on your face. And so that is what I'm planning on doing. It's supposed to help. Doing it for 7 days is supposed to help detect like a delayed reaction, which I think I often have. But I've also, over the past few years, become increasingly sensitive, not just on my face, but on other areas of my body to adhesives. I will have allergic reactions to like Band-Aid type stickers and all of that. And so this makes me quite, cautious and quite nervous. I don't know if I'm going to test this one right away. I think I might just start off by testing the shampoo and the Retin-A cream and just see how that goes. This one said that it's kind of rare to have a reaction, but it does cause sensitivities in some people where there's a lot of burning, there's a lot of redness and swelling, which I think even if my arm test looks okay after the 7 days, I still will probably most likely have a um, like a irritation and a sensitivity on my face because my face is so sensitive. Um, and I'm a little bit concerned because I already have like angioedema type swelling in certain areas on my face. And that could also be from the acne, and it could be from the dermatitis and all of that kind of irritating my skin. And so I am just on a mission to try to, get to the root cause of all of these issues for me, and to try to help them. So I am going to be putting this on my arm and this, and I'm very, very nervous. So I thought I would just kind of document what it looks like now on day one, and then a week from now, just share, where I'm at and what it looks like if I had any sort of a reaction, anything like that, and share as I go along. I should add, I also have been trying to figure out, what is the cause of my acne? Like I said, I think it's fungal and I think that it is hormonal, but I also think that it is mast cell related. I think that with the intolerances and the sensitivities that I have, and the gut imbalance that I deal with, it manifests in that kind of a way, in my skin. And so um, just trying to, holistically, I guess, help my body overall to be at its best. So maybe this will help my overgrowth of whatever's going on on my face. So I'm going to be testing these creams on my arm now. I thought that I would talk a little bit about how I am going to apply these to my skin, and I am taking a glove and labeling each glove with the name of the cream so that I can tell which glove is which one and reuse the glove throughout the week to apply the cream. And I made 2 circles, which I will just continue to redraw throughout the week after I take a shower to keep track of which one is which one. So I went ahead and I put them on. The one on the left with the T is the I think it's a retinol or retin-A cream. The one on the right is the Ketoconazole shampoo, not the cream, but the shampoo. And so when I applied both of them, I noticed an issue. The first one was the one on the left, and that one had stinging and burning when I first applied it. It lasted maybe like 2 minutes and then it subsided. The shampoo, the Ketoconazole shampoo, that one is actually worse than the other one for me. And when I put it on, it just itched, it burned, it felt like I was going to have to wash it off right away, but I didn't. I try to just keep it on for 5 minutes because that is what the directions tell me to do on my shampoo bottle, and to just leave it on my hair for 5 minutes and then rinse it. So I thought that I would just kind of do the same thing as I'm patch testing as I would do when I go to actually apply it. So I ended up washing it off after 5 minutes, but I left the retinol cream remain on my skin because that is what the directions tell me to do for that one. So far I can tell that if I were to put this on my face, even though it's not showing a very significant reaction right here on my arm, based on the feeling that it gave me, I know that my face would not tolerate this very well at all. So the shampoo is kind of interesting because obviously I will not have to put that on my face, but it is going to be on my scalp, which I'm sure will wash off onto my face and like my skin and all of that, where it might be more sensitive, and that does make me kind of nervous. I am trying to just, try to just see where it's at the end of this week, and if it seems like it's doing okay and I feel like
I'm not going to have an issue with it than just trying to use it on my face and see um, if it makes a difference for me or not, which I'm hoping it does. Right now, currently, my acne is not as bad as it normally is or normally has been, and I'm not really sure why that is lately, but I've noticed that it is just a little bit better than usual. So it's more of just like a texture issue in my skin right now and just a lot of inflammation. And I don't know if these will help with that, but I'm going to try them.
And another reason why I am testing the shampoo of the Ketoconazole shampoo and not the Ketoconazole cream is because the shampoo, to my gathering and understanding, does not have sulfites in it. It's just the cream that does. So I am more hesitant to trying to patch test the cream right now. Um, really, I was nervous to patch test any of these, and I'm pretty proud of myself that I did it. But I thought that I would just share, and document my experience with it. And then also when I actually put it on my face and share, what that's like. And yeah, maybe it can be helpful to somebody else. So that is it for this one.